Unlike some folks who have to live in the West End, I chose to live in the West End. The reason that I got involved with CAB is because I love my community.
As someone who majored in public health, I see the importance of vaccines. I know for a lot of people, they think public health is just healthcare, but it's actually involving the community.
I think the main thing is education. There's a lot of misconceptions, there's a lot of conspiracy theories. Also, you have a lot of people in this community who don't have a relationship with their healthcare professional.
I'm hoping that we can let people know that, your health comes first and that there are people there who care about you and want to fight for your benefit.
Go to the website, we got tons of information for you.
Vaccines, going to the doctor, these things are for their benefit, and I just want to advocate for them to let them know, hey, I'm always on your side. You have someone that's willing to speak out for you if you feel like you don't have anyone in your corner.
Thank you for tuning in once again to those of you who are watching Conversations with CAB. We're back to get deep down and personal. I would like to introduce our guest of the hour, Kazia. And can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Who are you? How old are you? Maybe a little bit about your family.
My name is Kazia. I'm 37. I have 2 kids, 17 and 13, 2 girls. I'm the executive director of a nonprofit in Louisville called Mama to Mama, where we offer maternal health and perinatal support for women, specifically women of color, but we do assist all demographics of women. And I am a senior midwifery student, so this time next year I will be finishing up my midwifery education.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you.
That is big. So I would like for you to talk a little bit about your job and what you do and how that impacts women.
So my job, I worked as a doula for about 12 years. I worked at Mama to Mama in the community doula program. And so when the founder of that organization wanted to step down, I knew that I had been working in the community with Black women, and I knew how much they needed that resource, and how important that was to them. And so I kind of stepped up and took over Black maternal health. In the state of Kentucky, we have one of the worst maternal health grades. Like on the March of Dimes website, it's an F. It may have upgraded to a D, but it has been an F for a couple of years now. And so we are really trying to make a positive impact on those outcomes with Black women.
So we know when Black women, a lot of times when they have babies, after they have babies, it's a big adjustment for them. So can you kind of talk a little bit about postpartum depression and how that's impacted a woman's mental health after giving birth?
One of the biggest things we see is women who don't have support. So that's single mothers, mothers of children, of multiple children. One of the big things they feel is feelings of isolation. Because they are at home with a new baby, their resources may be limited, and so their lack of access to certain things is essentially cut off, and they don't have access to the resources that they need to navigate those feelings and navigate the emotions that come after having a baby.
So what role does a doula play, or how can a doula help with women who do go through postpartum depression?
So a doula helps in a lot of ways. We help during pregnancy to prepare your body for labor and delivery. We get into educating the physiological process of birth, and what that looks like. And then once the baby gets here, we go into the home. We can assess for postpartum depression and mood disorders. We can help you differentiate between what are baby blues, which is normal, and then what has developed into postpartum depression. Once we realize that it may be a higher level of care needed, then we work with the moms to find the resources that they need to get the help and support that they need.
And just for those moms who do go through postpartum depression, it is fairly common. What would be some coping strategies that you would recommend mothers if they don't feel like seeking out therapy or they don't feel comfortable speaking with anybody that they can do to kind of help them cope with the new life?
I'm into herbal remedies. So I tell moms about like herbal teas like chamomile tea, the use of St. John's wort. Those are natural remedies that can kind of regulate the mood. Also, finding somebody or someone that you do trust and that you do feel comfortable with to say, hey, I'm not feeling like myself. Sometimes they just need a nap. Sometimes they just need a shower uninterrupted to kind of help reset how they're feeling on the inside.
And I thank you for sharing that, because there is a lack of education in that area. People think there's something wrong with them, especially women, but really it's just a change in their body, so to speak, from a scientific perspective. So we've talked a lot about the mothers. I would like to talk about, the babies and the children. And on this show, we've talked about vaccinations and how important it is for children or people to educate themselves on becoming vaccinated. How do you feel about children and vaccinations and the school systems making it more mandatory for them to become vaccinated?
As a natural practitioner, I do believe in natural remedies and not introducing things into your body because someone is making you. I'm also a mother. My oldest is 17. She'll be 18 at the beginning of June. She's fully vaccinated just because I didn't have the education that I have now. I didn't have the exposure that I have now. My youngest daughter's 13. She's fully vaccinated. But now they have an option. My oldest got the COVID vaccine. My youngest didn't. Neither of them get the flu vaccine. So I have introduced to them early, it is okay to make your own decisions about what you put into your body. It's kind of tricky though when it gets into the school system, because you have to think, if one kid comes to school with a communicable disease, then they're exposing all of those other kids because their parents don't want them vaccinated. So it is tricky, but I do really feel like everybody should have the option of what to put in their bodies.
So for those children who or parents who struggle or don't understand vaccinations, what would you recommend that they do to kind of get an understanding, not necessarily get them, but just to get more resources on, what are vaccinations and if that's a good option for them and their children?
I think it is important to do your own research from a credible source. Sometimes Google can be a bit of a rabbit hole, but if you are searching credible sources, websites, .org, .edu, you will get the right information you need. Like some vaccines are live vaccines, some vaccines are not. And reading those studies yourself and asking yourself, are these risks that I'm willing to take, and then go from there.
And I thank you for sharing that. We all have a choice on whether or not we want to be vaccinated. We all have a choice on whether or not we want to deal with our mental health. But as you can see today, we've had a plethora amount of people to educate us on making the best decisions for us and our families. For further resources, please go to www.westlouisvillecab.com, and thank you for tuning in.